Hello students, good evening everyone. I hope all are doing well. Welcome to Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. This is me Surya, your chemistry faculty from Infinity Learn. And I hope I am perfectly audible and visible to each and everyone present over here. Is there anyone watching this particular session? Just mark your attendance. Okay, I think we can start our session now. So we have successfully completed our 5 chapters from the syllabus. So here we are going to revise the first chapter, chemical reactions and equation, through some practice questions. I have taken some of the previous year questions to revise the topic. Okay, is there anyone watching the session? Just give me hi, then only I can start the session because this is an interactive session. Practice questions, I need your support. So in the first chapter, chemical reactions and equations, what we have studied? We have studied about the chemical reactions, right? How we can express the reactions in terms of equation. Then what are the type of chemical reactions? How we can balance the reactions, right? So these are the major important topics we have studied. Then we have seen some of the practice questions, how to balance the chemical reactions also. From those topics, from those subtopics, I have taken some of the questions. I think we can start our session now. So here is our first question. In a chemical equation, the reactants are written on the side. Which side? Right hand side, left hand side, or the below the products or above the arrow. So as we already know how to represent a chemical reaction, right? We can represent the chemical reaction in terms of a chemical equation. There will be reactants present, there will be products present. In between there is an arrow present, right? So what is the place of reactants in a chemical reaction? Hi Amardeep Singh. Hi everyone, welcome to the session. So what is the answer here? Okay, many of you are giving me the answer as option D, right? Option D means left hand side, right? Yes, option D, left hand side is the correct answer. For example, if I am writing the Hi Durgeshwar, for example, if I am writing any of the reaction, right? For example, I am taking A plus B gives C plus D, right? So those compounds or those elements or compounds which is present in the left hand side is now commonly known as the reactants, right? Then those who are present in the right hand side are known as right hand side of the chemical reaction is known as the products, right? So products. So here C and D are the products of this chemical reaction, and this arrow represents the reaction, right? It is proceeding. A and B is combining to form C and D are the product, right? Yes, very good. So this is the basics of the chemical reaction, right? How we can represent a chemical reaction in terms of an equation. Then we are studying about the balancing of chemical reactions, right? Balancing of chemical equations. Let us take our another question. Yes, here is our next question. Which of the following correctly represents a balancing chemical equation? Read the options carefully. As we already know, in the case of a balanced chemical equation, it is based on a the balanced chemical equation is based on a law of conservation of mass, right? Which means that all the reactants and products should be balanced here. Mass of the reactants and products should be equal here, right? So what will be the answer here? Simba, is it easy question? Option A, right? Okay, many of you are giving me the option A as the correct answer. Is there any other answers? First wala. Yes, option A, right? Option A is the correct answer. So what is the basics of the balancing of chemical equation? Okay, we will be starting from the basic questions. Then we will be going to advanced level questions, right? So what is the basics of the balancing of chemical equation? Law of conservation of mass, right? Mass of the reactant should be equal to the mass of product. So what you are observing here in the case of first option, all the atoms about the reactants and products are balanced here, right? In the case of here, 3 iron is present, and in the case of product also it is 3 iron. Then what about the case of oxygen? Here it is 4 oxygen, and in product side is also 4 oxygen. What about the case of hydrogen? 4 into 2, 8 hydrogen, right? In the left hand side, here it is also 4 into 2, 8 hydrogen, which means that total mass of the reactant as well as product is balanced here according to the law of conservation of mass. Clear? Durgesh, this is not about both reactants and products are equal. Mass of the reactants and products are equal. Because reactant are iron and water here, right? But product are iron oxide and hydrogen. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, can we move to the next question? Is there in your NCERT? No, it's CBSE. So here is our next question. Which of the following is an example of a molecular equation? Read the options carefully. You need to identify the molecular equations. So what is the meaning of a molecular equation? How they are changing, how they are forming. Okay, Sanjay is giving me option 3 as the correct answer. Okay, this one, right? Then again Durgesh is giving me option B. Okay, let's see what is the answer. Option B is the correct answer, right? 2 KClO3 gives 2 KCl plus 3 O2. So what do you mean by a molecular equation? What is the basis of a molecular equation? How we can define a molecular equation? Okay, what is the difference of this reaction between other 3 reactions? Here the single molecule is changing to as a two product, right? KCl and oxygen here. But in the case of other cases, we are taking 2 or more reactants, right? 2 or more reactants. It is a type of combination reaction, right? Okay, I hope you understand the difference between here. This is a molecular reaction in which a single molecule is decomposed into their compound here, right? Potassium chloride and oxygen here. Okay, in the case of balanced equation, mass are always equal, right? Okay, now we are moving to our next question based on the balancing of chemical equation. Okay, you can take your own time. This is the reaction. Inverse is given here. A lead nitrate plus B aluminum chloride gives C aluminum nitrate plus D lead chloride. This is the word for the balanced chemical equation. You need to identify the value for A, B and C, A, B, C and D here. First you need to identify the chemical formula of these compounds. Lead nitrate, aluminum chloride, aluminum nitrate and lead chloride. Try to write down the chemical equation and try to balance the chemical equation, then you will get the value of A, B, C and D here. You can take your own time. So while learning about the chemical equations, we have studied how to write down the chemical formula of any compound, right? There will be anion and cation. We can just crisscross the valencies of anion and cation. You will get the exact name or chemical formula of the chemical compound here, right? So that you need to identify the chemical formula of lead nitrate, aluminum chloride, aluminum nitrate and lead chloride. So what will be the answer? Okay, are you still solving? So what is the chemical formula of lead nitrate? Okay, what is the chemical formula of lead nitrate? Yes, fourth wala is the correct answer, right? A is equal to 3, B is equal to 2 and C is equal to 2 and D is equal to 3 is the correct answer here. What is the chemical formula of lead nitrate? So in the case of lead nitrate means lead is the cation here and nitrate means NO3 minus, right? These are the anion and cation here. So how we can write down the chemical formula of a compound? We need to just crisscross the valencies of anion and cation, right? So I am taking here in the case of PB, it is having the valency 2 and in the case of nitrate ion, it is having the valency of 1. So just crisscrossing, we will be get the chemical formula as PbNO3 twice. Is that clear? Is that clear? Now what will be the chemical formula of aluminum chloride? In the case of aluminum chloride, Al3 plus, right? Al3 plus is the cation and Cl minus is the anion. Crisscrossing the valency, it will be AlCl thrice, right? Yes, PbNO3 twice. And what about the case of aluminum chloride? It is AlCl3. Now what about the case of aluminum nitrate? In the case of aluminum, Durgesha, which point I want to repeat? How to write down the chemical formula, right? Lead nitrate or aluminum chloride? This is the chemical name of this compound, lead nitrate. So what you are observing here, lead will be the cation and nitrate will be the anion. Lead is having the valency of 2 plus, right? Pb 2 plus, and nitrate means it is NO3 minus. Valency is 1 here, right? So here it is 2, here it is 1. What we need to do? We need to crisscross the valencies. So it will be forming Pb NO3 twice. This will be the chemical formula of the lead nitrate. Is that clear now? Durgeshwar, is that clear? Okay, similarly, you can find out the chemical formula of aluminum chloride as AlCl3. For aluminum nitrate, it is AlNO3 twice, and for lead chloride, it is PbCl2. So what we need to do first, we need to balance the maximum number of compounds here, right? So first we are focusing the case of nitrate ion. In the case of product side, it is 3 nitrate. So I am putting here as balancing here. I will be putting here as 3 here, right? So it will be forming 3 into 2, 6. So I am again putting here it is 2. Are you getting my point? First you need to identify the compound which is having the more number in case of reactant or product side. Here in the case of nitrate it is 3. In the case of right hand side it is 2. So in order to balance I am just multiplying with the 3. It will be equal to 3 into 2 6 here. So again I am putting here 2 into 3 6 here. Now the number of NO3 ion is balanced here, right? Then what is remaining here? Which one is remaining here? In the case of chlorine, right? Chlorine and lead. So what you are observing here, it is 3 lead is present in the left hand side or the reactant side. So I am putting here 3 PbCl2. 3 PbCl2, right? Now we need to balance the number of chlorine ions. It is 3 into 2, 6 chlorine in the product side. So again I need to balance the chlorine atoms here in the reactant side. So I am putting 2 here, right? 2 AlCl3. So 2 into 3, 6 here. Now we need to check the total number of ions given here. Lead is 3 in reactant side as well as product side, right? Then what about the case of nitrate ion? It is again 3 into 2, 6 in the reactant side. Here it is again 2 into 3, 6 in the product side. What about the case of aluminium? Again 2 aluminum in both reactant as well as product side. What about the case of chlorine? 2 into 3, 6 chlorine in the left hand side. 3 into 2, 6 chlorine in the right hand side. Is that clear? So what is the coefficient here? A is equal to 3, B is equal to 2, C is equal to 2 and D is equal to 3. Is that clear? Okay, can we move to the next question? Okay, same type of question. You need to identify the value of x and y here. Reaction is given here, chemical equation is given here. Copper plus X HNO3 gives CuNO3 twice plus YNO2 plus 2H2O. So what will be the answer for this question? Okay, option C, right? 4 and 2. Okay, is there any other answers? So option C is the correct answer, 4 and 2. How we can solve this problem? So we need to balance the atoms one by one, right? So here it is already given hydrogen and oxygen is already balanced here, right? 2 into 2, 4 hydrogen is balanced in the case of right hand side or the product side. So what we need to do here, we need to balance the value of hydrogen in the reactant side. So I am putting here copper plus 4HNO3 gives CuNO3 twice plus YNO2, right? YNO2, we need to find out the value of Y here, plus 2H2O. Now we need to balance the number of oxygen atoms here, right? So here 4 into 3, 12 oxygen atom is present in the case of left hand side. So what about here? It is 2 into 3, 6, right? 2 into 3, 6 plus 2Y. 2 is equal to total 12, right? So 2Y is equal to or Y is equal to 2. Is there any doubt? What we need to do first? First, we need to identify the balanced term in the reactant side or product side. So here it is observed 2 water is present. From the 2 water, it is identified that 2 into 2, 4 hydrogen atoms are present in both reactant side and product side. So first I am balancing the hydrogen atom as 4 here, 4HNO3. So X value will be equal to 4 here, right? Now we need to identify the remaining oxygen atom. So it will be 4 into 3, 12, right? 12 oxygen atom is present here. Now what we need to do? We need to identify the total number of oxygen atoms in the case of product side. So it will be 2 into 3, 6, right? That I am taking 6 here. Now here it is 2y, right? 2 oxygen is present with y coefficient. So it will be 2y plus 2 oxygen is present in the case of water. So it will be 6 plus 2y plus 2 is equal to 12, or 2y is equal to 4, or y is equal to 2, which means x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 2. Is that clear? Is there any doubt? Okay, now we are moving to our next question. Again, balancing of chemical equation here. This is a reaction. Glucose is converting to carbon dioxide and water, right? So P(C6H12O6) plus QO2 gives RCO2 plus SH2O. We need to identify the values of P, Q, R and S in the balanced chemical equation. So what will be the value of P, Q and R is here? First you need to identify the maximum number of atom given here. You can consider the first reactant side. Then try to balance the same atoms on the right hand side also, I mean the product side also. Then you will get the correct answer. This is a famous reaction, right? Which reaction it is? Okay, I think I will start solving here. So C6H12O6, right? Which means that the reactant side there is 6 carbon, right? There is 6 carbon, then 12 hydrogen and 6 oxygen is present. So what I need to do first? First I am taking the maximum number of atoms given here. It is 12 hydrogen, right? So I am taking 6H2 here. Okay, 6H2, right? So now the number of hydrogen atom is balanced 6 into 12, both in reactant as well as product side. Now what we need to do? We need to balance the number of carbon atoms, right? Number of carbon atoms. How many number of carbon is present in the left hand side? I mean the reactant side. Okay, Durgesha, are you giving me the answer as option A? Option B is the correct answer. First we need to balance the maximum number of hydrogen atom here. It is 12, so I am taking 6 here, 6 into 2, 12 here. Now remaining is carbon, right? 6 carbon is present here. So I am taking 6 carbon here, 6 carbon dioxide. Now what is the total number of oxygen atoms here? It is 6 into 2, 12 here, and again this 6. 12 plus 6, it is 18, right? 18 oxygen atom is present in the right hand side or the product side. So what we need to do first, we need to balance the number of oxygen atoms. I hope you are getting my point. So here it is 6 oxygen already present. We can't do anything for this term because if you are changing here, if you are changing the coefficient of this compound, again we are changing the carbon and hydrogen terms here. It will be difficult for us to balance the equation. So what we are doing here, yes, this is the glucose formula. So what we are doing here in the case of oxygen, already 6 oxygen is present in the glucose molecule. Remaining, how many we need to add? We need to add 12, right? 12 means 6 into 2. Okay, I hope you are getting my point, right? Total, it is 18 oxygen is present in the case of product side or the right hand side. Again here it is only 6 oxygen present. What is the remaining here? It is 12. So in order to make the 12 oxygen atom, I am multiplying 6 O2. 6 into 2, 12 here, right? So what is the coefficient here? P is equal to 1 here, Q is equal to 6 here, R is equal to again 6, S is equal to 6. So 1, 6, 6, 6 will be the correct answer here. Is that clear? Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, now we are moving to our next question. The same concept we have already studied in the metals and non-metals concept also. What is the reaction whenever alkali or base is reacting with the metal, right? So read the question carefully. When 2 milliliter of sodium hydroxide solution is added to few pieces of zinc in a test tube and then warmed, the reaction that occurs can be written in the form of a balanced chemical equation as. The same concept we have studied in our third chapter also, metals and non-metals. The basis of the question is about the reaction of metals with the alkali or base. First you need to identify the chemical reaction, then identify the balanced chemical equation here. So what will be the answer? Okay, please give me the answers in comments. A, B, C or D. So B is the correct answer, right? The reactions are given here, sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide, as we already know, it can be represented as NaOH. NaOH, right? Then granules of zinc means pure zinc metal is taken here. So as we already know, whenever we are taking any metal plus base, right, plus base, it will be forming the corresponding salt here. So this is sodium zincate, right? Sodium zincate plus hydrogen, right? Plus hydrogen. Now we need to identify whether it is balanced or not. So it will be 2 NaOH, right? Now the balanced equation is here. 2 sodium is present in both reactant and product side. Zinc is again balanced here, and oxygen it is 2 here, and hydrogen is again 2 here. So this is the balanced chemical equation for the reaction given here. Sodium hydroxide is reacting with the zinc given here. Clear? Is there any doubt? Okay, this is our next question. Okay, let me check first, then we will here, right? Let me check first. I think it is NaZnO2. So option A will be the correct answer for that, maybe. Okay, if it is NO2 minus, then it will be Na plus only. So it will be NaOH plus Zn gives NaZnO2 plus H2O. Okay, I have a doubt there. Okay, we can discuss in the next class also. Please keep on hold there. Okay, what about the case of this question? Read the question carefully. It is important to balance the chemical equations to satisfy the law of conservation of mass. Which of the following statement of the law is incorrect? So what will be the answer for this question? We need to identify the incorrect statement according to the law of conservation of mass. Okay, option B will be the correct answer here. Okay, not this one. Okay, option B is the correct answer here. There is a confusion in the option B and C here. So the number of atoms of each element, right? Number of atoms of each element remains the same before and after chemical reaction is the wrong statement according to the law of conservation of mass, right? So after balancing the equation only it will be given same, before it will be different. So don't get confused here in the option C and B here. This is a chemical composition. Chemical composition, it will be same before and after reaction. But in the case of chemical, in the case of number of atoms, right? In the case of number of atoms, it will be the incorrect statement according to the law of conservation of mass. Okay, I hope you understand. Please note down here, this is the answer. Okay, can we move to the next question? So in the chemical reactions, we have seen the type of redox reactions, right? Redox reactions, how to find out the oxidation number. So here is the question based on the calculation of oxidation number of phosphorus in 3 different compounds. One is H4P2O5, H4P2O6 and H4P2O7. So what do you mean by the redox reaction? What is the 2 different reactions happening in the redox reaction? How to find out the oxidation number or oxidation state? We have already studied. You need to identify the oxidation states of phosphorus in H4P2O5, H4P2O6 and H4P2O7. So what will be the answer? Or how we can calculate the oxidation states of an element in a compound? Are you still solving? Durgesh, do you need the whole concept together in a one-shot video? Okay, I will try to cover within one hour for the complete important topics in the chapter, one by one. Okay, what about this case? What about the answer for this question? Okay, H4P2O5, right? As we already know, in the case of a redox reaction, there will be oxidation and reduction happens, right? So in the case of any other compound, we can find out the oxidation state of that particular element, right? For example, here we need to identify the oxidation state of phosphorus in this compound, right? So in the case of this compound, as we already know, the sum of oxidation state of each individual atoms like hydrogen, phosphorus and oxygen should be is equal to 0, right? Is equal to 0 here. So I am taking here as for hydrogen, as we already know, hydrogen is having the valency of 1 or oxygen state of plus 1, right? So 4 hydrogen atom is present here. So it will be 4 into 1 plus, we don't know the oxidation state of phosphorus, so I am taking it as x here, right? 2 phosphorus is present here, so it will be 2 into x. Then what about the case of oxygen? For one oxygen atom, its oxidation state is minus 2 only. So it will be 5 oxygen, so 5 into minus 2. In total that is equal to 0, right? In total that is equal to 0. So you will be getting 4 plus 2x minus 10 is equal to 0, or 2x is equal to 6, right? 2x is equal to 6, or x is equal to 6 by 2, that is equal to plus 3. Is that clear? How to calculate the oxidation state of any of the element given in a particular compound? Is that clear? Okay, now you can find out the oxidation state of phosphorus in H4P2O6 using the same method, right? If I am taking H4P2O6, right? So it will be 2 plus 2x minus 12 is equal to 0, or 2x is equal to 8, or x is equal to 4, right? X is equal to plus 4. If I am taking the H4P2O7, right? H4P2O7, if you are solving, you will get 2x is equal to 10, or x is equal to 5. I am not solving completely here. You can use the same method, then you will get the oxidation number of phosphorus in each of the cases. So option A will be the correct answer. Plus 3, plus 4 and plus 5. Clear? Okay, which point I want to explain? H4P2O6, right? I am taking the H4P2O6. So as we already know, if I am taking any of the compound, the sum of their oxidation states will be equal to 0. So 4 will be, here in the case of 4 hydrogen, for each hydrogen atom it will be having the oxygen state of +1. So 4 hydrogen atom it will be 4 into 1 plus phosphorus we don't know, so I am taking here it is x. So it will be 2 into x, 2 phosphorus is present, 2 into x plus, for 1 oxygen atom it will be -2. Here it is 6 into 12, that is 6 into -2, that is 12, right? In total it is equal to 0. So if I am taking here for -12 it is -8, right? 2x minus 8 is equal to 0, or 2x is equal to 8, or x is equal to 8 by 2, that is equal to +4 here in the case of oxygen state of phosphorus in H4P2O6. Is that clear now? Durgeshwar? So here I am taking the oxygen state of phosphorus in the case of H4P2O5, it is +3, and for H4P2O6 it is +4, H4P2O7 the same method you will get +5. So option A will be the correct answer here. Okay, I hope you understand. Here is our next question. The study the following chemical reaction, 2Na plus 2H2O gives 2NaOH plus hydrogen. You need to identify the reducing agent in this reaction. So this is a redox reaction, right? In the case of a redox reaction, both oxidation and reduction happens, right? Oxidation and reduction happens. So in terms of oxidation state, we can say that oxidation is a type of reaction in which oxidation number or oxidation state increases, right? So for this particular reaction, you need to identify the oxidation state of each of the reactants and products given here. Now identify which one is undergoing reduction, which one is undergoing oxidation. So here, if we are taking any of the reagent which is undergoing reduction, it will be act as an oxidizing agent. If any of the reagent which will be undergoing oxidation, it will be act as a reducing agent. So what will be the answer for this question? So if I am considering the reactant side, here it is sodium, right? Sodium is the pure metal. If any of the component element is their elemental form or the pure form, it will be having the oxidation state of 0. This is the main point you have to keep in mind while you are solving about the redox reaction. So any of the element which is in the atomic form or the elemental form, it will be having the oxidation state of 0. So sodium is having 0 here. Now what about the case of water? Hydrogen and oxygen is present, right? So in the case of hydrogen, it is +1. Water it is -2, as usual we already know. Then what about the case of NaOH? NaOH, as we already know, this is the OH minus and this is +1, right? Sodium is having +1 and OH minus is having, OH is having the -1, right? And what about the case of H2? H2 means it is again elemental form, diatomic molecule, right? If any of the element is there in their Cl2 form, I mean diatomic molecule form, again it will also having the oxidation state of 0. The same point you have given, already given in your NCERT textbook. Now to find out the oxidation state. So in the case of hydrogen, it is 0 here. So what you are observing here, if I am taking the case of sodium, right? In the case of sodium, in the reactant side, it is 0 oxidation state. Now it is moving to +1 oxidation state, right? Are you getting? So what is happening to the oxidation number or oxidation state? Whether it is increasing or decreasing. Here it is 0. Now it is moving to +1. 0 to +1. Oxidation number increases or decreases? Oxidation state increases, right? So that process is known as the oxidation. Is that clear? Now what about the case of here? In the case of water molecule, hydrogen is having +1 oxygen state, and the product side it will be 0. +1 to 0 means reduction happening, right? Which means oxidation state decreases. So it is reduction. Okay, Durga sir, all the best for your exams. So oxidation state decreases here, it will be reduction reaction, right? So in order to identify the reducing agent in any of the chemical reaction, you need to identify one which is undergoing oxidation, right? One which is undergoing oxidation. So here, in the case of here, which one is undergoing oxidation? Here, right? Sodium is undergoing oxidation, so sodium will be the reducing agent given here. So option A will be the correct answer. Okay, I hope you understand. That's all about from my side for today. We have discussed around 15 questions, I think, from the chemical reactions and equation. If you have any doubt in any of the part of this chapter, you can ask. Otherwise, you can wind up the session for today. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the session. If you really like the session, hit the like button and subscribe our channel and share this particular session to your friends also. It will be helpful for them also. If you want to get the session PDF, you need to join our Telegram channel, Infinity Learn 9 and Telegram channel. You will get the session PDF after all the classes. And the next class also, I will be coming by with the revision part of the next chapter, acid, base and salts. We will be going to discuss more questions, more previous year questions based on the chapter. So before attending the session, try to cover almost all the important topics. If you have any doubt related to any topic, you can ask in the next class also. Okay, thank you so much all of you. See you in the next class. Bye-bye.